Oh boy, wow. It's not even 12 o'clock yet. Understanding the flamethrower and the occupational hazards. Um, Goodness gracious. Wow, that's loaded, isn't it, man? I could go anywhere with this. I guess I could start personally because that's the only thing I know. So, um, a few years ago, sorry about the squeaky chair. A few years ago, I was on one of the social media things, and I had a lot of interactive members, and I was very opinionated. I would learn something, I'd just be like, "Yo, I got to put this out," and then anybody who didn't agree, excuse me, I would try to really convince them by giving them, places to go to look up stuff, information. And, it got a little contentious because, you start throwing around words, that you really don't believe about these people. You know, you might even say stuff like, brainwashed. I used to be brainwashed too, right? It's kind of like a flamethrower. It's throwing a few flames. It's at least throwing a few sparks. If you think about it, what if somebody called you brainwashed? Hell, in my opinion, we all might be a little brainwashed in some respect. And sometimes, being a flamethrower, you may not even, it may be like a cruise control for some people. I was watching this cartoon, Transylvania 2. It's an Sandler joint. There's the monsters, and then there's the normal people, right? Just saying normal people in the eyes of some could be a flame throwing thing. The mother of the human in that story, every word or every comment came out of her mouth was like kind of like socially unacceptable type of stuff, like, oh, now he won't be so creepy, stuff like that. It's just, and some people live in that lane. Matter of fact, I know people like that. But I guess I'm speaking more on the lines of the flamethrower who means to throw flame. They want to throw some flames in order to start some fires, and if that's the lane you want to be in, you have to understand the things that are going to come along with it. Um and sometimes, you just have regular beliefs that you believe are just your beliefs, and that's just how you believe, and that's what in your reality is the truth. That can be seen as just being a flamethrower in some respects. And when you're in this arena where you're on, different social media platforms, I mean, you kind of open yourself up to the scrutiny of others, anywhere within the sound of the video, or the sight of the video. So I'm not saying choose your words wisely. I'm saying if that's where you're gonna be, you gotta understand that there's some backlash that comes along with it. Because you're not just talking to the people you like. Back to that social media thing I was talking about a few minutes ago. It got to the point all I was doing at one point was responding. You know how much time that takes up in a day? I was just responding to people who disagree with me. And I'm just like, I would give facts, and they would give me back like an infographic that they found somewhere online that had something to do with, the topic, that had a few blurbs. And then I would see holes. I would see holes in that, and I would feel like I'd have to respond to that. You know what I mean? So, So I had to basically shut it down just to save time because I had other things I needed to do. But at the same time, I had to also readjust my approach to stuff like that. That doesn't mean I can't have the same opinions or ideology or whatever. And different people have different methods. Different people have different ways. Different people are good at being flamethrowers. They don't mind the scrutiny that's coming along with it. They invite it and they're gonna fight it, and they just have that energy. I guess you got to decide if you got that energy. I mean, as for me, goodness, I got a lot of energy that I need to spend here in the real world, dealing with, family and just things that come up where, I'm going to have to decide, man, goodness. I mean, and then if people are responding, are you going to take the time to respond back? Because that's a part of it. You know what I mean? So that's just the occupational hazard. Now, to the point, to the bigger point that I'm getting into now, you have different people saying that they've been, threatened with death threats in the media. And and it seems almost, disingenuous or intellectually dishonest for them to say that, but at the same time maybe they never experienced it on the same level as some of you. I'm not giving them a cover at all. They might be lying out their ass, and in some respects they might be, but if they get one, that's a big thing. It's like, oh, somebody out there wants me to die. Just like the dude who just threatened the CNN Atlanta. It was one dude. That's enough to scare anybody, right? But you got to imagine how Donald Trump must feel, and supporters of Donald Trump who just speak out. They've been dealing with this for over a year and a half since Donald Trump pretty much started running. I mean, I'm not saying that he says maybe he is saying everything the right way because it's getting a response and things are getting done. But I know it's not as, tasty to most people's palates, just in the response that's coming out of a lot of people. Um and he likes the heat. He even said it in that meeting. I played it. I played before. It's in the bipartisan video. Um, so he gets that on a regular basis. His supporters get it on a regular basis. And now, a few people are getting some backlash. I mean, come on. Somebody hold your head up with a bloody image of that's like your image. And then you got other people talking about smoke them. You got this videos. You talking about blowing up the white. Come on, dude. Those aren't like death threat ish. I mean, it might be hyperbole a little bit, but at the same time, it's enough out there to say, well, look, what about all of this? What about all of these people coming out hitting people for their beliefs? You know, even in Charlottesville, I mean, they wanted to march, and it seemed like, look, it was so few of them that if nobody showed up, it would have looked ridiculous how few of them there were. The only thing that made it a big deal is that all the protesters that showed up that wanted to attack them. So you could have let them go on about their business and it would have been like a blur, but social media. got enough people who willing to be a few flamethrowers. But you got to remember about that flamethrower. Okay. The thing about the flamethrower is that you one out of a few who have the flame. Most everybody else got bats and swords and rocks. You got the flame. So whether it's night or day, the heat's coming your way. The heat's coming your way because you burning shit down. It takes a special kind of person to want that job, to want that heat, because they gunning for you first, because you doing a lot of damage. You know what I'm saying? Good or bad. I mean, hey, I'm just saying, like, you could take this message either way you lean. I'm just saying that's gonna be you. Whew. Man. So I guess what I'm saying is, when it's gonna be my day, because I be talking sometimes. Sometimes I'll say whatever, man. And it's I know. Hey, I know my day is actually. You know what? I feel like I've arrived because I received a thumbs down on one of my videos. So I was like, yes, got one. Finally, somebody didn't like my shit. I'm not trying to be a flamethrower, but I'm just trying to voice things the way I see it, and hopefully it'll help a few people. Anyway, my name's D Train. It's been a blurb, a little bit of bunk I've been seeing out there. You know, you know, we need our flamethrowers, but at the same time, you got to understand what you're getting into, and it might fall anywhere. And huh? Have at it. Peace.